Now this is probably one of my favorite Kahoot, or if not the favorite Kahoot or Bookit related furry story that I have on this channel. The entire class almost found I was a furry in one of my previous videos. Now this was when the class got really close to finding out I was a furry in Kahoot. Now this time I decided to play it smart. I didn't want anyone to notice yet that there was a furry in Kahoot until after the game. So I put the join code in and typed in my name as the furry just like last time. But this time I waited to click join until after the game started to make sure my name stayed off the big screen. As I played, I scanned the room with my big floofy owo ears to hear if anyone's noticed yet, and to make sure no one's noticed that there's a freaking furry on there, and no one noticed it for a while. I eventually stopped worrying about it. There was one guy sitting right next to me who did try to take a peek at my screen, but I moved it away. It went from forgetting about it to eventually just letting my guard down, and I sat back a while. At one point, spaced out on my computer, someone said, "There's a furry!" And I jumped and sat straight up on my chair, and someone had, as if someone had tickled my back, and my eyes were laser sharp, ready for anything to happen. Some people who were sitting right next to me looked at me for a second, and as soon as I did that, then they looked away. Once that happened, the rest of the class was talking to each other about like the name that someone called themselves a furry, and I was all nervous. But then I realized that's all right. It's not like the teacher's gonna be able to find who it was. Then a student asked the teacher to check to see who it was. Um, and teacher said she didn't know how to do that, so I was like, oh yeah, we're good, right? Then one of the students said, "There's a way to do it," and then I was like, "Oh, it was." Then I was like, "No, no." So the student showed the teacher how to check who it was, and while that was happening, I wasted no time. I tried exiting the tab. I clicked close anyway, and then the second I did that, I heard the teacher say, "It doesn't say anything," and the student was like, "Huh." And I sighed in relief. I sat back and was like, "Oh my goodness, that was so close." Then I heard a voice of a student that was sitting right next to me on my shoulder saying, "Are you the furry?"